Right now, you can choose the company that you are in, either to enjoy it or to suffer it, there is a choice. But once you've lost the discretionary mind, which we call as death, when that happens, then whatever is your tendency, you will tend to go in that. Suppose it's your tendency to always negatively react to things and suffer, now once you've lost your body and your discretionary mind, your suffering will become millionfold simply because you can't decide to come out of it.
You, in the death book, you mentioned that sleep is a little bit like, death, that falling asleep is a little bit like that. And if you do that, in a way you said you can die with a smile on your face. Do people fall asleep with a smile on their face too? I mean, is it the same sort of idea?
Yes, in a way, it's not absolutely true, but partially true. It is true, I would say, largely true. Because how one sleeps in many ways, because essentially sleep means you're absent in a conscious way. You're still alive, but you're absent. Death also means you're absent, but you're not alive in terms of your body and everything, you're gone. So, actually, when you put an animal to death, you say you're putting it to sleep, which is a very good expression actually, because you're actually putting it to sleep, because sleep is absence, so is death absence. So, if you can go into sleep consciously, joyfully, it's fantastic. So this is one of the sadhanas that all the seekers do is, the point of transition from wakefulness to sleep, they want to conduct it consciously, because if they can conduct that moment consciously, they know they will be able to conduct that moment of transition from life to death also consciously. So when we say consciously, what we are saying is, death is a limited process. As life that you know right now is also a limited process, so is death a limited process. So, the content of life, the life that you are, not the body that you are, not the mind that you are, not the character that you have become, but the life that you are is a much bigger phenomena than what your physical body does, what your intellect or your mind does, your thoughts, your emotions, your drama. This is psychological, physiological, social drama. You can conduct it in a pleasant manner, in a whichever way you like, all right? Whatever is your taste and your pleasure, because different people like different things, it's fine with us. But the most important thing is, what is the quality of life? When the life is same, where is the question of quality? This will arise. Because when life is same between you, me, a dragonfly and a grasshopper, fundamentally life is same. So where does the quality arise? Quality arises in the volume of life that you gather, in the sense. The whole yogic processes, unfortunately, the way yoga has become in the West, it makes me cry the way it's being taught and understood. See, essentially one aspect of yoga, the most vital aspect of yoga is to enhance the life that you are. How do you enhance the life that you are? Let's go back to the same analogy. You and me are blowing soap bubbles. We should do it one day, okay?
I do it.
So,
my daughters are still young enough.
No, I'm saying between you and me, we must do it one day.
Oh, yes, okay, we'll do that, yes.
Suppose your bubble is so big and my bubble is so big. Now I say, see, this is my bubble, it's fantastic. But what has happened to my bubble is, my walls have become very thin, but it's a huge bubble. My bubble will burst much more easily than your bubble, but it has a significance because it's big. So this is what it means, that as you make your life bigger and bigger, the life that you are, as it becomes more and more enlarged, I'm not talking about enlarging your social footprint or your physical presence or your mental prowess, these are different aspects. These are faculties that we have. But the life that you are, when it becomes significant, you know life better than most people simply because it's become a significant part of you. Right now, the most significant part of you is not the muscles that you carry, nor the mind that you carry, not the information or knowledge that you carry. The most significant aspect of your life is life itself within you. When this happens, the other walls become very thin. Anytime it can burst. Once it bursts, it's gone. So essentially, what most people in the West don't understand this because these questions keep coming to me. They want, because they've read some Buddhist texts, they want nirvana. Nirvana means non-existence. Are you ready for becoming non-existent? No, the Western idea of dying is you will go somewhere else where the accommodations are better than California. And there are no fires.
And there are no viruses, yes. Well, one thing I thought to be practical for our audience, I thought we would try to put at least one smile on their face for when they go to sleep tonight, so that they can go to sleep with a smile on their face. And one of the things that you…
morning, George, I thought it's morning, let them not go to sleep now.
Well,
you say that
know,
to the Indians.
after stretching their intellects, maybe everybody will fall asleep, so… But if you… one of the things you wrote about, you talked about where you're going to go and whether it is better than California. It's like, you know, it reminds me of a joke that Groucho Marx used to say, that, you know, I wouldn't belong to a club, any club that would have me as a comedian. And I always think about that kind of exclusive thinking when I read the descriptions by some yogis about Brahma Loka. You know, it's like, it's a place which is so exclusive that it won't even take me, you know? But one of the things about the fear, I think, that people have about death obviously comes from this whole idea of hell and punishment. And you wrote a great line about you can't really be forced to suffer. And you quoted Buddha, and this is in inner engineering, you quoted Buddha as saying that he will go to hell afterwards because he doesn't have to suffer, so he can help the people there. He won't suffer when he's there. It reminds me of when I wrote an essay maybe 40 years ago, and one of my conclusions was, you can send a man to hell, but you can't make him suffer.
I
think if people understood that, I think, because a lot of people are living their lives afraid of what's going to happen afterwards.
See, the simple thing is this, that right now, if you look at your life, your pain and pleasure comes from within you. I may take a pin and prick, but the pain comes from within you. Pleasure also comes from within you. Joy and misery comes from within you. Agony and ecstasy comes from within you. Or in other words, what I'm saying is, the source of human experience is within you. So what is within you, I believe, must happen your way. It should not happen my way. Your experience should not happen my way. Your experience of life should happen your way, because the source of experience is within you. The seat of your experience is within you. The problem is, you're not sitting on the seat, you're crawling all over the place. You do not understand from where the experience is being generated. See, right now, let us say I will abuse you, I won't, I'm just telling you, because a lot of people are abusing me on the, Twitter trolls all the time, so I am telling you, I will abuse you in an Indian language. You think I'm saying an endearment because you don't know the language. So I'm saying the insult itself does not hurt you. It is the way you react which will hurt you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if I call you an idiot in an Indian language, you don't know, you think I'm saying good morning to you. So it is not the words, it is not the actions, it is not nothing, it is the way you're responding or the way you're compulsively reacting which hurts you. So, the human experience is caused from within you. If you understand this, if you know this by experience, will you create pleasantness or unpleasantness for yourself? Definitely pleasantness for yourself. What you want for your neighbor sometimes is debatable, but what you want for yourself is very clear, highest level of pleasantness, isn't it? So what is heaven and hell is In human mind, whatever is the highest level of pleasantness is heaven, whatever is the lowest level of suffering is hell. When you know human experience is happening from within you, obviously these are two descriptions of what a human being can go through, either when they're alive or post that, either within the body or when you're disembodied, both ways it can happen. The advantage when you're bodied is, you have a discretionary mind, you can choose. Right now, you can choose the company that you are in, either to enjoy it or to suffer it, there is a choice. But once you've lost the discretionary mind, which we call as death, when that happens, then whatever is your tendency, you will tend to go in that. Suppose it's your tendency to always negatively react to things and suffer, now once you've lost your body and your discretionary mind, your suffering will become millionfold, simply because you can't decide to come out of it. Right now, you go somewhere, you meet somebody, you don't like something or something that they said, you will suffer something. But when you're driving back, you say, hell with him, and you start playing the music and enjoy yourself or do something, because you have a discretionary mind. But once this ability is gone, if you start suffering, you can't stop it. If you start enjoying, you can't stop it. So both joy and misery become extreme. So this is called as hell and heaven, because you lost your discretionary mind, you're happening by your tendency. So this is why in life, it's very important when you have a conscious discretionary mind, you create a pleasant tendency within yourself, so that when you lose it also, you will be extremely pleasant, because pleasantness and unpleasantness will get multiplied millionfold when you don't have a discretionary mind. See, why if you give a simple lollipop to a child, he enjoys it so much that it is like the end of his life, because he doesn't have the same sense of discretion that you have. That is why his sense of joy is so high. At the same time, if you take away the lollipop, his sense of suffering is also very high, because again he does not have the same level of discretion that you have. But once you're disembodied, you are not just a child kind of loss of discretion, your discretion is completely absent. You go 100% by your tendencies. The mind has no attributes of its own, it is just there. People can make joy out of it or misery out of it. People can make agony out of it or ecstasy out of it, it's left to them. Then Shiva sat down and looked at the creation very carefully, observed every creature, and then he wanted to know his own mind. So he closed his eyes and started looking at the nature of his own creation, his own mind. And when he realized, when his realization came to a certain absoluteness, that actually creation is without attribute, each individual can make whatever he wants. The mind is attributeless. So when he realized this, then he became so ecstatic that he jumped and danced. He danced wildly out of his joy and ecstasy. As he danced intensely, with absolute involvement, when every cell in his body was a dance by itself, suddenly he realized that this dance is not necessary either. And he noticed, at the peak of his dance, there was absolute stillness. So he sat down as an ascetic, unmoving, utterly still. They say that stillness happened on this day, on the Mahashivaratri night is when it happened. From intensity of ecstasy to absolute annihilation and stillness, these two things he went on alternating. This is the imagery that you see. Sometimes he's dancing and exuberant, sometimes he's utterly still as if nothing exists. When we say Shiva is the destroyer, it is not about destroying the world, it's about destroying your world. Your world is essentially an accumulation of past experiences and impressions. Past is seeping into the present only through your thought process. And it is projecting itself into the future
through your desiring process. What you know as your desire is essentially an exaggerated version of the past. So the destruction of the past is the essential nature, because if you want to know the grandeur of the creation, that is possible only through the presently existing moment that is here right now. This is the only doorway. In utter stillness, there is no past. In absolute movement, there is no past. These are the two fundamental passages that Shiva found to give access to that which is creation and the source of creation.